What's going on, y'all? Today's the day. Training camp has started, which means the NFL season is officially kicked off. Football is back, baby. Tonight on the Sick Podcast Anvil Show, we have a special guest for you tonight in the house. We will introduce him in a minute. We're going to keep this a surprise. So, Sammy, let's get into it.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to the Sick Podcast. Anvil Show.
Intercepted! Marlon Jackson! Marlon's got it! We're going to the Super Bowl! We're going to the Super Bowl! Marlon Jackson with the interception! He picked off Tom Brady!
The sickest Indianapolis Colts podcast. It's gonna be sick.
It is absolutely going to be sick, y'all. Just a reminder real quick, y'all to follow us on all of our socials, Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube. Please hit that subscribe button for us. If you're already on YouTube and subscribed for us, don't forget to hit that notification button for all of our latest episodes and videos that will be popping up. Training camps here, so we're going to be posting a lot of content for that. So just be sure to tune in. We're going to be busy the next few days, or a couple months actually. Football season's back. But Sammy, go ahead and bring in Big P real quick.
What up? Hold on, I gotta adjust some camera here. I got a side-by-side guest with me today.
Yes, don't worry. You will see my eye and part of my mouth today.
Yeah, see, we can't do a little bit.
Oh, there we go. Okay, you'll see
better?
all of my face. That's fantastic.
There you go. This ain't our
anyway,
special...
you guys, if you don't know, I'm sorry, country.
No, go ahead.
Oh no.
Real quick. Okay. Well, Chris, as everybody knows, is from the Horseshoe Mob. He's hanging out with Big P for the week to go to training camp while he's here. But the special guest actually tonight is a Indianapolis Colts media legend. He's basically he is probably the best Colts insider that there is. He's everything Colts football. He knows greats like Peyton Manning, Jim Irsay, and more. We've had him on the show before. Everybody, please welcome Mr. Bob Kravitz.
Big Bob!
Bob.
Where's the standing ovation?
Hey, well, I would, but the headphone will fall out. So I'm just I'm gonna give you the towel.
The golf clap will be just
there.
fine.
You go.
Now, my first question for you, Bob. Last time you was on our program, you got upset with us because you didn't know you could have an alcoholic beverage. So my first question is, do you have your beverage, sir?
I haven't. For a really boring reason. I have to get some blood tests tomorrow, so I can't drink for 2 days before I get the blood test. So that's no fun. But
Bob, I'll drink one for you.
Guys can drink
one for you, big guy. Oh, for sure. I got you right
Busch
here.
Light.
All I drink's water and coffee. So
yeah, Diet Coke, man.
I'm kind of boring.
I don't have my drink because Pat decided not to tell me about this beforehand.
Yeah, apparently.
Look how prepared I am.
He's prepared now.
Very important information.
Touche, Bob. Touche.
All right.
Bob, how you been, sir?
I've been tremendous. It's still I'm working for bobkravitz.com, which is my own website, more or less, on writing on Substack. So if you want to subscribe, just go to bobkravitz.com and you can subscribe. It's not terribly expensive, so I hope you'll consider it. Otherwise, fine.
Hold on, Bob. Sammy, can you put that in the chat? His website for us, please. Can you say the website again?
Yeah, just bobkravitz.com.
Plugging that in right now.
bobkravitz.com.
Yeah,
Very short, simple, and sweet. I like Bob. Let's see here.
Thank you.
All right, keep talking. I'm going to try. Well, I can't.
But Bob,
I can't join the chat from the StreamYard.
Oh, okay. Bob, all we're going to do tonight, if you're cool with it, sir, we're just going to get some possible insight from you and just talk about Colts training camp since it started today.
Yeah,
so
that sounds fine.
We're just going to casually talk some football if you're all right with that.
I'm fine with that, guys.
Awesome. Chris, since you're our guest, do you want to start off with the first question for Bob?
Yeah. So I don't know if you've had a chance to kind of like look at the team and kind of analyze where this team is in terms of just like some of the new pieces. But I'm sure that you, of course, were around like during that Andrew Luck era. in terms of the offense, like seeing where it is now, do you feel like this offense right now is better than the offensives that Luck had during his entire tenure, maybe even including possibly like the Chris Ballard era?
Well, I think it's the best. I think it's potentially the best team of the Ballard era. But we'd be comparing it with Andrew Luck and T.Y. Hilton. In the early days of the Ballard era. No, I think this is going to be a good team, guys. I think I'm not just telling you what you want to hear, because you had me on last year and I said they'd win 3 games. I was only off by 6. So,
Not bad.
I feel good about this team. I think that backfield of JT and AR is just going to be not dynamic. I think it'll be right there with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley in Philly. Defensively, I like the Latu addition. I think they're solid at all 3 levels defensively. Clearly the secondary's got to get better. I'd love to see Ballard go out and get him a veteran presence in the secondary. They're a little weak at safety, but most of their problems are smaller problems. If you got the quarterback situation figured out, and I think they do, then you're going to be in position to compete for a playoff berth.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that.
Now, Chris, today, was it today's interview or yesterday? Maybe it was yesterday's interview. Somebody asked about bringing in a veteran presence in that backfield, and he flat shut him down. Says, no, I like our guys, and I want to see what our young core could do.
Well, the funny thing there was that Kevin Bowen asked the question, and Chris misheard the question. Chris thought he said, are you going to bring in a better guy in the secondary, a better cornerback? And what he said was veteran. So there was a miscommunication there, but it does not sound right now like Ballard is inclined to go out and bring back Stephon Gilmore or somebody like that. So, I think Ballard's going to Ballard, man. He's going to stick by his guns, and it's either going to get him to a playoff spot or it's going to get him fired. One of the two.
Ooh.
There.
That's
I really hope we don't get him fired. I really don't. I like the guy.
Yeah, I like the guy too. I mean, he's great to deal with from a media perspective. He's just a good dude. But you can't go 8 years. You can't go 8 years without winning the damn division. Or 8 years and just make the playoffs twice, win 1 game in the playoffs. So that's just not good enough. And if Jim Irsay is still interested in winning his 2 Super Bowls, he better make a change if they don't get to the playoffs, because there's no reason. I realize the AFC South is better than it's been, but there's no reason why this team shouldn't win 10 to 11 games.
Yeah,
I agree 100%. Now, as a journalist, do you give Chris any leeway because of all the debacles that he's had to face since he's been here?
Well,
and,
some of them are debacles of his own making. Clearly the Andrew Luck situation, that's not on Chris Ballard. That's not on anybody. That was just Andrew making an important life decision.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, Ballard was front and center when they signed Carson Wentz. He was front and center when they signed Matt Ryan. So he is swung and missed badly a couple of times. So some of these things that have happened, I just don't think you can get the get out of jail free card on Andrew Luck for too much longer. You've got your quarterback now. It's go time.
Yeah. So Bob, and wait, hold on. Wait, is it the camera? I don't know.
It's the camera.
I don't want to be like a phantom guy, just like talking from like the left or right, whatever direction that is.
Just the voice.
But so I know that you mentioned like not making playoffs. Like, what are those scenarios where you think like this year would be kind of like that break for Chris Ballard? Because of course we know if you get into the playoffs or win division or you go deep in the playoffs, of course he's safe. But I mean, what are those scenarios like other than possibly missing playoffs where it ends up being, like an unindictable just failure when it comes to that?
Well, I mean, to me, the only way that Ballard survives if they fail to make the playoffs is if, God forbid, AR gets hurt again. I mean, that changes everything. But no, he's going to have issues. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the situation right now with Jim Irsay and just how involved he is, how much he still cares about the success of this organization. I think he's still passionate. I think he still cares, but they haven't spent money in recent years except on their own guys.
Mm-hmm.
And how much of that is Jim and how much of that is Chris Ballard and his philosophy. I mean, who doesn't like to spend money? So I don't know. It's
the rich people.
No,
The rich people don't like spending money. That's why they got it.
exactly right. That's why I got nothing.
You got plenty, Bob. You got plenty.
So again, that's bobkravitz.com in case you missed the first 800 times.
There
you go.
There it is. Please
Sammy always comes through for us.
Oh yeah, please go and help Bob out. Subscribe to his stuff. He's one of the best out there, guys. I mean, you can't help but really like the guy. He's an honest, he's an honest journalist when it comes to the Colts. He's a great insider. So if you want everything Colts, hit up bobkravitz.com. It's gonna be great.
Man's a legend.
Well, how about this, Bob? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
Hot seat for Bob. For everybody that's following us, how about we give you access to our page, and you can link your articles on our page, and they can just hit the link, make it easy.
I'd have to ask the Substack people if I could do that. I don't know if I can do that or not, but
Who is Substack?
He's talking about he's not rich and he's talking about Substack. I've never heard of that before. That's rich people talk. Like that's rich people talk. He said Substack like us lower beings are supposed to know what a Substack is.
Oh no, it's just it's a site where I do my writing, but yeah, we'll talk about it. Absolutely.
All right. Well, we'll find out, and you've got our platform, sir. Absolutely. Okay. Because you are, like Acosta said at the beginning of this thing, one of the best sports journalists that Indiana has ever had. But what comes with that title is a love-hate relationship with the fan base.
Oh, yeah.
Because you are probably one of the most brutally honest journalists that I have ever read. And I'm not going to lie. I'm like, what is this guy's problem? In my younger days.
Yeah.
In my younger days, I'm like, man, does he just hate on us? What the hell's wrong with him? But then as I got older and I started actually reading what you wrote and seeing it come to fruition, I'm like, yeah, this guy's not crazy. He knows what the hell he's talking about.
I remember during the Peyton Manning thing when I started writing, when they were 0 whatever it was, 0-12, 0-13 back in 2011, I guess. I was writing that we've seen the last of Peyton Manning in a Colts uniform, and I got crushed. I said, they're going to have the first pick of the draft and Andrew Luck is available. What in the hell do you think they're going to do?
Hold on. I got to tell a non-podcaster to turn his ringer off during a podcast.
It's normally not on, sir. My bad. Sorry about that, Bob. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Sorry.
I didn't hear it.
Those lower class citizens keep interrupting us, Bob.
Yeah,
For God's sake.
Whoa, whoa! Hey, I don't know if you know, but you are a lower class citizen, sir. Okay, you didn't know what a Substack was either.
And I still don't.
I don't even know why I brought that up, but anyway.
It's good. It's good to know, Bob. We can talk about that later. We'll talk
All
about Substacks and all that. So that's amazing. I appreciate you, Bob. You're a legend, by the way.
Thank you. My wife would disagree, but
Don't they always?
Come on, get your head in here.
Yeah, was it put his head on our shoulder? What is it? Broke back? What are you?
Good God, we're already off the rails here.
All right, Bob, back to football real quick.
I don't know whether we're on the air or not. I honestly have no clue.
We're live, baby.
We're live. But all right, Bob, back to football real quick. We're talking about the chopping block here. So as you get to know me, I'm a big defensive guy, and I just don't think Gus Bradley's been very disappointing to a lot of people's opinions here lately over the last couple of years with his defensive play calls and schemes. What do you think's going to happen with him this year if he's not successful?
Yeah, I think he's another guy who's on the hot seat. I really do. I mean, the defense, is what held them back last year. To the degree they were held back. I mean, 9-8's not terrible. But they're a team that doesn't blitz very much. So you need your front four to have a high win rate. And, even though they had an Indianapolis record number of sacks last year, 51, they didn't feel like they won enough. They didn't feel like at the end of games they got the kind of pass rush they wanted. I think this is the best defensive line Ballard has had here in his time in Indianapolis. And I think Latu was a really good pickup. I just steal. You talk to that kid, there's something there, man. There is something there. I think he's going to be a terrific player for them.
There we go. Now I got to go get the Latu jersey.
Oh, boy.
That's the reason why you got to get the Latu jersey?
Because Bob said he's a special.
He just randomly.
He's got something, guys. I'm telling you.
Now, since you brought up Latu, let me ask you this question, because we can't keep everybody. Kwity Paye, Dio, which one makes it to contract? Which one gets let go?
You're probably talking to the wrong guy there. I are they all in their last year?
Mm-hmm.
This one.
Well, I mean, Kwity had an amazing summer. He lost 10 pounds and gained some muscle, which, as you can see, I'm on the same workout regimen as Kwity. He said he was working out 4 or 5 times.
It, Bob.
Oh yeah, I might pull something. Kwity is, I think, poised to have a good season, really good season. Dio, the thing you like about him is he can play inside or outside. And yeah, boy, knowing Ballard, he'll keep all three. I mean, just he keeps.
God, I hope so. Yeah, I hope so.
I don't see any guy being a guy who would be on the outside looking in unless somebody has a really unproductive season.
Yeah, or they just come in asking way much more money than Ballard to spend. Because what we do know about Chris is he puts a price tag on the position, and that price tag is consistent to how you performed.
Right.
And he doesn't go over it.
No. He's
Bobby Okereke, the prime example.
Yeah, absolutely.
He did fabulous for us. He's doing great in New York. Man, I would have loved to see him get re-signed, but he went over the price Ballard was willing to give. Right. We lose him.
Yeah, I mean, it's the state of the league. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, since we're on the topic of contract talks and money and all that, and it's kind of an elephant in the room right now. It's kind of like the big news at the start of the football season this year, especially with Indianapolis. Is there anything you can tell us about the Ryan Kelly situation with his contract?
Yeah, I mean, he talked about it very openly yesterday when the Colts reported, and he said that Kelly and his people approached the Colts about a contract extension, and the Colts had no interest in doing that. They got this Tanner Bortolini. I believe he's a third rounder right out of Wisconsin. Ryan's been here 9 years. That's a long, long time for anybody to stay on one roster. So I got to think that they are looking at a cheaper, younger alternative in Bortolini, and they're just hoping and praying that he develops, within the system and is able to replace Ryan Kelly at the end of this year.
So, I mean, with that being said, do you think they're just gonna see how his health is, because he's been dealing with a lot of injuries here lately,
A lot of concussions.
Yeah.
He's had a scary number of concussions. It reminds me of Dallas Clark a little bit, but I think there's really no reason for the Colts to make a commitment to him at this point after 9 years, and those health issues that you referenced. There's no reason for Ballard to be proactive here. I think you see how he's looking and feeling at the end of the year, how far Bortolini has developed, and then you make an informed decision.
Well, you heard it here first. Keep an eye on Bortolini, guys.
Yes.
And do you feel like, well, I know it's just he's 9 years in and he's a veteran, but I know it's just like in the past few off seasons we've seen that he's more so kind of been like non-committal at the end of the year. Right. It's just like it always looks like it's a question mark. So you think that also feeds into the not necessarily needing to rush an extension, being that, it's just like the last few seasons you seem like you were ready to just go ahead and ride off into the sunset. And now, we're talking about extensions.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he was asked last year, and he got very defensive and weird. He was asked last year, "Are you thinking about retiring?" He's like, "Who the hell told you that?" But there's always been, it's a little bit like, the old left tackle, Costanzo.
Costanzo, yeah.
The last couple of years, you always thought it was going to be Costanzo's last year, and Ryan's got a young family. Like I mentioned, the concussions. In fact, I think he just had a child. And that family's been through the ringer. I mean, my God, the health issues and his wife and their baby. He wants to be paid. I don't blame him. For 1 second, but I don't blame the Colts for taking a bit of not a hard line, but for just sort of standing their ground.
Gotcha.
Got a question from Tyler. He says, what do you think of the tight end room looks like for you at the end of camp?
I keep waiting for Jelani Woods, guys. I just keep waiting. I know, he showed some flashes, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Been hurt, and it was funny. We asked, or Kevin Bowen asked Ballard about the tight end room, or somebody asked him, and he mentioned most of the tight ends. He didn't mention Jelani, which surprised me a little bit. And maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I think he's the guy with the biggest upside. I mean, Mallory, meh. None of the other guys thrill me. To me, Jelani Woods, this is make or break for him. He would be one of those guys who, if he got cut at the end of training camp, if you're asking me, who's a guy who's maybe a bigger name who might get cut, that's a name that I would come up with.
Jelani, really?
Yeah.
My expectation is Mo.
I was even thinking Mo or Kylan, because Kylan is obviously the smaller tight end of the group.
Right. Well, I think that's going to be the room that's going to find a guy cut. I'm thinking Jelani, but you could very well be right about that when you talk about Kylan and the other guys.
Yeah, I will say, from being in training camp today, there were a couple of passes that he just whiffed on. And I think it's just like it was kind of tough to watch because it's like, okay, he's the guy that you most anticipate is going to be the guy who steps out of the room. But I mean, Granson caught a beautiful pass from AR, but Jelani had 2 passes in hand and then just dropped them.
Yeah, I mean, and the Colts have made it pretty clear in previous press conferences where we've talked to Ballard, where he's just like, the dude's got to stay healthy. He's got to show us something. So just, reading the tea leaves a little bit, I think Jelani Woods is a guy who I still think has an upside, but just hasn't proven anything yet and needs to quickly.
Absolutely.
Pat, you got anything else real quick?
Well, we've got a lot of stuff, but we're very short on time. Tight end room.
Okay, here we go. I got one.
Okay.
I hate when I do that.
Who wins the wide receiver battle between A.D. Mitchell and Alec Pierce?
I have a feeling it's going to be Pierce early, and that Mitchell's going to come on and replace him as the season wears on. That's my guess. We talked to Mitchell today. He's a very interesting guy. He's got an interesting backstory. There are some questions about him. There are a lot of off-field issues that a lot of people referenced in the media. The old unnamed scout type of stuff that really got Ballard very, very upset a couple of months ago. But he looks the part. He's tall. He's got some bulk to him. I watched him run a couple of routes and was really, look, I'm not a professional football film watcher like those guys are, but just watching him, just the eye test, I thought he looked the part when I watched. I don't know how you guys felt if you watched him today, but he just looked the part to me.
Yeah.
See, I've been saying probably the last couple of weeks that AD takes the starting job out of camp.
Maybe. I mean,
that's my prediction for him. Going back and studying some of his film, going back reading some of the scout reports. This kid's got everything out there.
Yeah,
that you
but
want.
Let me just point out one thing. He was the 7th receiver taken in the draft. If he's such a sure thing, why was he a 7th receiver taken in the draft? That's my only buyer beware kind of statement.
Okay, Ryan Leaf was selected 2nd quarterback off the board. How'd he do?
Well, obviously terrible. I'm just saying.
And I just brought that up, Bob, to put this point out there. To me, it doesn't matter where you're drafted. It matters what you produce. I mean, Zaire Franklin drafted 7th round to the special teams, and now he's middle linebacker captain.
Yeah. Oh, look, absolutely. I'm just saying that people around here are talking about A.D. Mitchell like he's a sure thing. He's going to displace Pierce. He's going to be the perfect bookend to Michael Pittman Jr. and Josh Downs. And I'm saying, he may look good on tape. I mean, he may be, the greatest thing ever. He may be Jerry Rice incarnate, but it's just he was the 7th guy picked among wide receivers for some reason. So I'm not ready to anoint him just yet. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely, you can't anoint, and I'm not even ready to anoint AR. You got to prove it. You absolutely have to prove it. But from what I've seen, he's got everything in his repertoire to prove it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. I mean,
who is that receiver? I think the Kansas City picked. Got a DUI, or no? He was in the top 5. Got a DUI already.
That really speedy one that had the
No. He was last year's draft pick.
Oh, you're talking about Xavier Worthy?
Yes,
Xavier Worthy. Yep.
I know he went 30, 31, 32, something like that.
Yeah.
But at least we're not dealing with stuff like that.
Well, yeah. Knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood. So far, the only drama we got's been the Ryan Kelly situation, really. But
Yeah, that's pretty minor.
yeah.
Now,
But
with the backfield the way it is, Julian Blackmon come back on a 1-year deal. Can you explain anything into that, and why is it a 1-year deal?
I honestly have not asked Ballard about that, and I can't give you a smart answer why. I think, if I'm guessing, they just want to see that he can stay healthy. I mean, he had it going last year, and then he got hurt late, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing that comes to mind for me. But the other safety spot scares the bejesus out of me, guys. I mean, Rodney Thomas and who am I forgetting?
Nick Cross, Marcel Dano.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you made my point for me.
Yeah, I'm really ready to see what Cross can do. We got to me and Acosta got to interview him at the facility this past summer, and super nice guy, big as a daggone mountain.
Yeah.
I'm really ready to see him just take off.
Well, I remember training camp when he got here, and I had people telling me this dude's like Antoine Bethea in the sense that he knew what he was doing from day one, and they were so high on him, and then nothing. I mean, he didn't get snaps. He didn't produce anything because he couldn't get on the field. So, we'll see. I mean, that's going to be that's going to be one of the position battles to watch most closely. That, and who your cornerbacks are going to be, who your tight end one is going to be, with about 6 or 7 or 25 guys in that room. They're gonna have to build an annex for that thing. Yeah, I mean, but you look at the position battles, and at least it's not a quarterback position battle.
Yes,
it's not.
Yes,
I mean, if you have a quarterback, you have a chance. And while I think Anthony's going to have his moments when he looks like a rookie, because it's essentially what he is. He played 173 snaps last year. I think he's also going to give us those wow moments where you just sit there and go, holy crap, this guy can do some things that nobody else can. So I expect a good, solid, hopefully healthy year from Anthony. And, that backfield is going to be just dynamic. I can't wait to watch those two guys work together.
Yeah,
absolutely. We got a flash of that. I think you were there today, Bob, right?
I was.
Yeah, and I think the first play from the 7-on-7s was the RPO, and I mean it was so smooth that the fake handoff to Jonathan Taylor, it was so smooth it tricked me. I'm watching JT run to the right side, and then
he's going
all
left.
of a sudden I'm just like, and AR's over there just like running out of bounds on the play. It was
the cool thing is that, and Steichen said this today, it opens up the whole playbook. I mean they Steichen, there's just certain things you can't do with Gardner Minshew, although he ran surprisingly well last year. I mean, he was marginally.
He ran better than Phillip Rivers did.
Phillip Rivers. He was like a desk.
Yeah.
He was like a desk.
Not even with wheels, just a desk.
Yeah, just no wheels, just a desk. My God,
those heavy hardwood.
He was funny to watch.
No wheel having desks.
Yes.
No wheel having desks.
All right, Bob, I got 2 more questions for you, and then I'll let these guys ask their final questions. We're gonna have to jump off here in a couple minutes. 1, do you smoke cigars?
I do. Very rarely, because my cardiologist would not be happy with me. But yeah, on occasion, yes.
All right,
Bob.
If you're there Saturday, I will have a Cuban reserve for you.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I'll be there
I
for sure.
I was getting ready to say, Bob, if you're going to be there Saturday, I got a Cuban waiting for you.
All right.
Now you got
two Cubans.
Well, I guess I'm going to have to
doing
contribute
Saturday
the
night.
third. So yes, we'll have 3. Unless your cardiologist is watching, then it's just those 2.
Yeah, I'll have to ask him if he watches the Sick podcast.
we are worldwide, so
We're worldwide.
There's a good chance that he does.
Probably.
And shit, where'd my other question, my last question go?
Are you asking about cigars?
Yeah, I can't think of the last question. Damn it, that was a good one.
Chris, you have one last question for Bob before we get out of here?
Well, I was going to ask a question, but I don't want to steal Pat's
No,
thunder.
go ahead.
But no. So the only other thing.
Slow.
Right now, I'm very slow.
So as of right now, I'm going to say projected for what you can see, completely healthy. If this team this year, regular season, at the end of week 18, want to get once again 100% healthy. We know it's the NFL.
Right.
Where do you see this team at record wise?
I think they go 11-6 or 10-7.
Okay.
I think they make the playoffs. I think Houston will win the division. But I think the Colts make the playoffs as a wild card.
All right.
And I think that would be a really nice big step for this franchise. And I think Ballard keeps his position and everybody walks away happy.
Awesome. I remember my question now. And it's kind of a sore subject. So if it's sore to you, I apologize. But it's still being talked about. Did Chris Ballard do the right thing by releasing Darius Leonard?
Yes. Where is Darius now?
He's still at home, as far as I know.
There's your answer.
Working out.
Okay.
There's your answer. He just it's sad as hell because he was on a Hall of Fame trajectory. Let's be honest about it.
Yeah.
He was headed to the Hall of Fame.
He was.
And much like you remember Bob Sanders, it wasn't one injury after another, but it was that one major injury that caused all the problems for Shaq. And it's a damn shame, and I wish him nothing but the best. But yeah, he made absolutely the right decision because you could not have him in your locker room when you knew he wasn't going to play.
Yeah.
I agree. Now, we got other people that will disagree with you, but I agree. And that's why I went.
This is why we love you, Bob.
That's what I say. I just wait until the camera's off.
Oh, well. I forget that I'm on air.
No, you're.
But yeah,
honesty is the best policy, Bob.
Good to know.
All right, Costa, burn it up. Last one.
I actually don't have no more further questions for you, Bob. I just want to say thank you for coming on again. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Like Chris iterated, absolute legend with the Colts media. Just thank you again for coming on. It's always great, and we can't wait to meet you at training camp this year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to those stogies.
There you go.
Hey, thank you for the kind words, and thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
We appreciate
Absolutely.
you, Bob. Always.
Thank you.
Always. And then Chris and Pat, final thoughts real quick before we get out of here.
I'm just excited, you guys. It's finally here. It's finally moving. We're finally seeing, some action on the field. I'm excited. I'm a little more optimistic than Bob is. I like your record predictions, and I'm right there with you. But I do believe we take the South back.
Okay. Well,
I do believe that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chris,
Pistol,
what you got?
Tennessee.
Final thoughts. I'll leave you with words from the great Marshawn Lynch. You know why I'm here, and I'm just here so I don't get fined.
On that note, Bob.
I'm just telling you.
Bob, thank you. Sammy, get us out of here, buddy. Let's go.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast and Bill Show on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.